Welcome to Chess Talk, episode 257. Hello, it's Cody here and Brittany.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
A week off.
Yeah.
Tickery took over. Thanks again, Tickery.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
And we are now in Utah. Woo! We survived.
We are an hour ahead of you. I know what I said.
Yeah.
That's the joke.
So we made it, so we're going to talk about our move, because, oh boy, we're going to talk about more of The Great. 2 more episodes. We're going to talk about another movie of the week, and I think that'll do it. Keep it light and fresh for you, and let's get into it. How have you been, Brittany?
Tired. How about you?
Pretty tired. It was a long weekend. We didn't necessarily get to enjoy our 4th of July.
Nope.
Which, it's fine, because it's not like we really were going to have plans. I mean, if we were in Vegas still, we would have had plans, but it's not like because we were tired from moving that we missed out on anything here.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
And we got to see plenty of fireworks out our window, which is good enough for me.
Yeah.
What about the move do you want to talk about first?
None of it, because I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
You just go right ahead and explain how much fun we had.
I mean, it was fine.
Was it?
It was fine.
It ended up fine.
It ended up fine, and that's what I'm looking at it. Those are the rose-colored glasses. Oh, I'm playing chess against a robot. Hold on. That's what we do here.
Were you not playing it?
I'm totally playing it now.
Now.
I'm totally playing chess and talking. I mean, it was fine. We got a U-Haul that was recommended for the size of our apartment. And when you rent a U-Haul, you can pick moving companies that they recommend at I don't know if it's a discounted rate, but it's usually like decent prices.
Yeah.
Typically 2 guys for 2 hours. So we did that. Movers in Vegas. First thing they do when they show up, they're like, oh, I don't know if you have a big enough U-Haul. It's like, okay, this is what it told us. So they started moving, and we were on the 3rd floor of an apartment complex with no elevator. And it's July in Vegas, so sorry, movers. But you're movers. I don't know if that's mean of me to say, but that is your job.
Yeah, it is.
And so after talking for a little bit, I learned that they didn't know it was on the 3rd floor and also a 2-bedroom. So the main guy told me if he knew it was a 2-bedroom on a 3rd floor, he would have had another guy come and help them, but he didn't. So it was just 2 of them. And the second guy he brought wasn't great. I'll say that much.
Yeah.
He looked like me.
Yeah.
He looked like a shorter version of me.
Yeah.
And I think if I showed up to move my apartment, I would have some questions. Like, you're not strong enough, dude. Give me 6 months at the gym and maybe like, okay, yeah, I could be a mover, but staring at myself as is right now, I'm like, no, you can't.
I didn't really get a good look at him, so.
He was just scrawny and, he, by the end of it, like, he was taking like a step every 5 seconds up the stairs when I was helping because he was kind of going slow and I was like, I want to get this shit done.
Yeah.
And like I was up and down the stairs just as much as he was, and I was totally fine. And
yeah,
he was, I think, in the 2.5 whatever hours, maybe 3 hours, he used the bathroom 5 or 6 times.
It was 4 hours.
It was 4 hours of them?
It was 4 hours that they were there.
They got there at 3:30.
And they didn't leave till like 7:30.
Yeah, that just adds to it. So, I mean, he just, because the main guy, like, he didn't take a single bathroom break, and, like, he was up and down the entire time. Like, he was moving. He wanted to get this shit done, because once they were done with our apartment, they were done for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got the movers, and they started loading it weird, which is apparent now, but at the time, like, whatever, it's fine. Like, they did all the boxes first.
Apparently, you're supposed to load all the furniture first, and then the boxes.
Right. And his reasoning is that, right away he said that he didn't know if it was going to be big enough, and we said that, the boxes and stuff, that's our stuff, that's more important, so he said he wanted to get that on first and then figure out the furniture.
Yeah.
And then after we got all the boxes and Tupperware and some of the bigger, like the bed and some bookshelves in, he was then like, okay, yeah, we can fit everything else, so don't worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
And he did, except for the couch, which became an issue. Mm-hmm. Not right then, but oh boy, did the couch become an issue.
Yep.
So they put the couch in at an angle which
Standing up vertically.
and then slanted back. No, slanted away with the legs pointing out.
Slanting towards the front of the truck with the legs pointing towards the door.
Exactly.
And if you know what a U-Haul door is, it's like a garage door that goes up and down.
Yeah, it's just like a little
Garage door.
like a pulley door.
Like a garage door.
Yeah, but I mean, not everyone has a garage and a door.
But everyone knows what a fucking garage door looks like.
I don't know that anymore. Do people own houses? Is that a thing?
Older people own houses.
And that's our target demo.
Yeah. Anyway.
So
they angled these metal post legs of the couch towards a sliding garage type door.
and I was like, oh, like, should we take the legs off before we do this?
You asked them that?
I did.
Oh.
And they're like, no, it should be fine. Like, you saw, it's like, oh, like, it catches a little bit, but you can still get in the U-Haul, but, like, it'll be fine. And we've done this before. I was like, okay, you're movers. You know the things. I'm just a dumb guy that's paying you.
Mm-hmm.
And
so what happened next, Cody?
so we finished loading up what we could in there, like our kennel and shit like that, all right up at the front because we couldn't really get too far in the U-Haul because it was packed.
It was just barricaded to the brim. It was
Yes.
full.
So he was right in that, yeah, we probably did need,
A bigger U-Haul.
yes, which would have avoided all these issues.
Yes.
But it also would have been avoided if the couch is facing the other way because
Or if the legs had been taken off.
as we discovered after driving it over to your brother's place to park it for the night, just because we didn't want it
Out on the street.
on the street next to our apartment complex, we discovered that the door would no longer open because
The
the
legs jammed it shut.
yes, you could open it a couple inches, maybe. That was it. So then we spent probably 30, 40 minutes at your brother's trying to get it open, like driving the U-Haul forward and then slamming on the brakes, or he had a wooden plank that he was like shoving in there to try and push the couch forward, and
Yeah.
nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So we said, fuck it, we're tired. We have to wake up in 4 hours. Let's just hope that the drive to Utah opens it.
Mm-hmm.
One drive later, it is not opened.
Yeah.
After some potholes on the highway that we were hoping and praying for, they did not do the job. So we get there, and on our way there, I texted the movers here for us, and was like, hey, by the way, door seems like it's jammed shut. We think the previous movers put the couch in at a weird angle, and it's locking it. And the mover owner was like, that's okay. My guys have dealt with stuff like that before. Like, just, let me know when you're there, and we'll send them over, and we'll get it figured out. So the U-Haul's there, movers get there, and they can't get it open. They've never seen it this bad before. Ever.
Because usually, like, when this happens, it's like, okay, there's, like, a foot that you can, like, fit someone in there under and, like, shift things around,
Right.
and it's not a big deal. Like, no, it's like your hand could fit under and not much more.
Like, you could get your hand in, barely your wrist.
Yeah.
That was it.
Yeah.
And so where we are, there are a lot of hills.
Mm-hmm.
And so the next idea was, hey, drive it up a hill, slam on the brakes,
Drive it down a hill.
drive it down a
slam on the
hill.
brakes.
Yes, because we want the couch to fall forward in the bed so that way maybe the legs will move back.
Yeah.
So we did that a couple times, no dice.
It was not budging.
Yeah, we slammed on the brakes and left the truck like angled uphill so that way like it would theoretically be
Downhill.
yes. Yeah, directions are weird.
Directions are important so we don't seem like idiots that were
No.
like, let's just angle it backwards so it jams in more.
No, we were trying to do the correct way to unjam it.
Yes.
Let me get that across.
Yes.
So that doesn't work, and the movers are like, fuck, that sucks.
Can't really do anything.
Yeah, they were like, call roadside assistance, and, as soon as you get it undone, just give us a call.
Yeah.
We'll come by. And he was super nice. It was
Super nice.
Friday, and he was like, I don't care if it's 9 p.m. Like, call me, and we'll come over and help you guys out. So thank you to them, because they were
Yes.
great.
Cut spoilers. We got our stuff out eventually.
Yes. But, I mean, yes, as you lovely listeners, I recorded the episode, we edited it. All our stuff is fine. Yeah.
We'll get there.
95% of our stuff
get
is
there.
fine. So, roadside assistance comes.
And they're like U-Haul specific roadside assistance.
He was just roadside and towing, just like
I know, but,
contracted
like,
through U-Haul.
Yeah, like contracted
Yeah.
through U-Haul. That's what I mean.
Like an affiliate or
Yeah.
whatever. Right. So, like, he's done stuff with U-Hauls before.
Yeah.
He shows up, never seen anything this bad.
Yeah. Like, we came downstairs and he was already, like, shoving things through the top of the door, like, trying to get it out. Before we could even tell him, he's like, I see those couch legs.
Mm-hmm. He's like, man, that's in there pretty bad. Mm-hmm. So he spent
at least an hour on his own.
At least an hour.
Trying to figure it out.
Because he spent like 45 to 50 minutes before he decided to call U-Haul and just...
Because his last resort was, I want to cut a hole in this truck. Because it's not opening.
Yeah, because...
he had different types of crowbars and shovels that he was trying to, like, slide through the top of the door and try to push the couch back. But there was something that he deduced was, like, pushing it forward so that we could not, with our human strength, move it back.
Right, because gravity was being a bitch.
Yes.
And he's called U-Haul and talked to them because he was like...
He wants to cut a hole in the truck.
And, like, he can't just do that because it's U-Haul's. And so he finally called them, and they're like, yeah, well, you know, if you do that...
They said, no, you can't.
Yeah.
And they said they want to do it at their yard on Monday.
Yes.
And this was Friday.
And, you know, if the door needs to be broken, we'll be held liable for it.
We as in me.
Why would it have been you, though? Because my name was the one that rented the U-Haul.
I don't know, because you weren't really down there.
So it would have been us. Yes. We would have been held liable for it.
For the damage to the truck
that
they would have had to cause because they had to cut into it. But they said that would have been their last resort, but I don't know what else they could have fucking done.
Right, like what other mystical thing they had.
And like, I'm sure it's common knowledge, but I didn't really think about it until this was all happening, is U-Hauls are built so that you can't just take the door off and break into them.
That's what the U-Haul roadside guy was explaining, is like, yeah, they're like a safe. Like, you can open the door, and if you can't open the door, you can't get into it any other way. There's no secret latch, there's no hidden, you can't get in. That's it. Because we don't want people to just show up and steal your stuff. Yep. So it's like, that's great, but we want our stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
You'll have to explain the next part, because that was the last I heard, because
you were upstairs.
I had to use the bathroom, and like I got a missed call from U-Haul, and I heard I got a voicemail explaining that, and then I texted you, but you were there, so you already knew that much, and then you were. So now, what happened after that phone call?
I was sitting on the curb, and the guy was explaining to me how he felt terrible. Like, he didn't want us to have to pay for it. Because
another super nice guy.
He knew it wasn't our fault, and he just kept saying, you need to go after those movers. You need to go after those movers. They fucked you up. So I was just sitting there, and all I heard was, I have to spend X amount of dollars paying for a U-Haul. And I was like, I'm just going to keep messing with it, because I don't want our probably thousands of dollars worth of stuff sitting in this truck for the whole weekend.
4 5 days. Because it's like they would get the truck on Monday.
Who knows when they would start it.
Yeah.
So I was like, I don't want to sleep on the floor for the next week. I don't want to deal with any of this shit. So I just started like lifting up the door those like 2 inches it could, sliding my arm in. And the first thing I found was a blanket that was like underneath the couch and underneath the folding table we use to record the podcast. And so I just started pulling on it, and it was stuck in there, and I pulled it out. And then, because the tech guy, he was ready to, like, he was packing up, he was about to leave, and then he saw that I was pulling random small things out, and he was like, well, let me keep trying. Mm-hmm. And so my parents, who also drove the truck up for us and helped us move, they all started reaching their hands in, pulling shit around. My dad, like, the kennel was resting against the couch, so he started, like, lifting it to try to get it over the leg of the couch that was still on, so it wasn't in the way, because that was also preventing us from doing anything. And then, what else? They took the other leg off on the bottom to help move the kennel over. They got that unblocked. We were able to pull some other smaller things out. And then he climbed up to the top again and started pushing. And so he had his crowbar in the top of the door. My mom had the shovel on the bottom, trying to lift the couch up a little bit so that it would maybe tilt. Somehow, with all 4 of our combined strength, my dad and I pulling the door up while they did that, we got it open like a foot. Mm-hmm. It was crazy. And like, I think that was when it snapped the metal leg of the chair or the couch off.
Probably.
Because it came falling down out of the truck.
Yeah.
And we were just like, great. perfect. So before we could do anything, tech guy like climbs down and just crawls into the truck.
He was like, when I got down there, I think it was like maybe 30 seconds after this. And so when I got down there, he was just in the truck.
Yeah,
And I was like, something happened.
Yeah. So he was in the truck. He climbed up on all of our stuff to the top of the truck and started like assessing the situation, and could see that our 2 bookcases had fallen forward and our TV was wedged behind them, forcing everything forward.
Yeah.
So there was no movement happening.
Right.
I think he took the other leg off manually.
Yep.
And then just kept like pushing it back as much as he could until we could get the door open more. And then we just unloaded like half of it until we could move everything out from behind the couch.
Well, after he finished and he got all the stuff, like, we got the door open.
Yeah.
So he did that, and he was great. He should not have stayed as long as he did, but he was super nice.
He was so nice.
And then another great character to this story, our new neighbor, I won't say his name, not that it super matters, but he just showed up after we got the door done, and he started talking to your mom first thing. And he was like, hey, I'm a professional mover. And he's a big dude.
Yeah.
So we're like, that makes sense. He's like, do you guys want help? It's like, yeah. We would have loved it before the door was open, because I'm sure he would have just fucking snapped the chair.
According to him, he can lift 750 pounds.
And I believe him.
Yeah.
I would not doubt that guy.
Nope.
So he just got in there, like, he was just like, I'm just gonna help you guys, like, don't pay me, I don't want, it's like, I just got done working 16 days, I'm about to have a long weekend, I just want to help and just end my week right. It was like, we're not gonna turn you down.
Yeah.
So he helped for a little bit, and yeah, he was amazing. He pulled so much shit out. Like, by the time, because we got the door open, so I called our paid for movers, and they started coming back. And so by the time the movers got back, our neighbor had essentially like unloaded the truck, except for the record boxes, which were like up in the attic, and then the big furniture in the truck.
Yeah.
And so once the movers got there, like, they were able to, I think they finished within an hour, a little over an hour.
About like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Because it was like 9 o'clock by the time everything was in the apartment, I want to say.
Right, yeah. And the movers got there around
7:30.
Yeah. So the neighbor definitely helped shave off some time, and
Yeah.
he seemed a little sad that the actual mover showed up, because I think he
didn't want us to pay for it, and
Right.
I don't think he got the concept that we already had paid for it.
Yeah, like, I was never able to explain to him, like, we prepaid them for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Because he wanted to just have us not pay anything, and he just wanted to help, and so he kind of disappeared after the mover showed up. And
Yeah.
I wish he would have stuck around. We tried to feed him dinner and stuff, but his phone isn't set up to receive incoming calls, and when I texted him, he just never replied, so
Yeah.
just a ghost in the night.
I wonder if he blocked our number.
No.
Okay. Are you sure it wasn't set up to receive and he didn't just block the
No,
number?
it said, it had a message and was
Oh.
like, this phone number is not set up, or is like set up to not take incoming phone calls or
Oh.
whatever. Like,
Oh,
just
okay.
no incoming at
He
all.
was just like a mysterious superhero.
We know his
then.
apartment number, so we can
We
go.
do know his apartment number.
And
He
we're-
told us that.
We're gonna get a gift sent over to him.
That was because we had gotten into town, I want to say, around.
It was like 2.
It was like 2 o'clock.
Yeah.
And that truck didn't get open until about 7.
Yeah.
6:30 or 7.
Yeah. And so I had woken up at about 3:30 in the morning. So did you. Like, I got up, walked Chloe at about 3:30 in the morning that day.
Yeah.
So.
I think the funniest part, bless her heart, is after we had gotten all of our stuff in, my mom was like, let's just like go for a walk and go see
Oh my
things.
God, yeah.
Any other time, totally, I want you to see why we like this place.
But we're tired.
We're tired.
It's been 2 very long days for us.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one night of sleeping on the floor, followed by, we knew we were going to sleep on the floor one more night. So it's like, we just want to sleep as much as we can. But we did it.
We moved.
We're moved. We've only had a few issues with the
Yeah.
apartment.
So we lost, but all the legs of our couch are off. One broke, but we just took the rest off.
Yes.
And while while the roadside assistance guy was inside the truck trying to stand on things to help us open it, the coffee table broke. I think he had to stand on it, which I don't care. He could have broken anything at that point, but he got our stuff out.
Yeah.
So, couple casualties, but all in all, we're okay.
The records are all here. The computers are all here. The TVs are all fine. So it's like the fragile
Expensive
electronics, like they're good. So a coffee table, you know what?
Fuck it.
We'll get enough. There's an IKEA here.
There is an IKEA here.
We're gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
That was at least my thought process at the end of it.
Yeah. Same.
We were all very much like, fuck this couch by the end. We're like, please break that couch because it does not deserve to be inside the house.
Nope.
It has lost that privilege.
You're winning?
I'm gonna win again.
You did it.
Yeah, I did it.
You won.
I won. My anger of the move powered me through that chess match. So, after all that, we didn't really... We're recording this late. Very late.
Yes.
By the time you guys hear it, you'll never know. But we're recording very late. But we were still able to watch some of the great... You had to watch 4 episodes this weekend.
Yeah.
Because you
that
were
was my Sunday.
behind, and then we watched a movie. But let's get into the great.
Yes.
So there's Move Talk. Hope you enjoyed it. Check timestamps.
If you don't care.
Yes. Too late now, but in the future.
Yeah.
So yeah, episode 5, War and Vomit.
Oh, okay. This one.
So it started with Catherine going to see the front lines and
With
seeing
the aunt.
to give the soldiers macarons.
Yeah. That was cheesy.
And Catherine was very upset, and Grigor poisoned Peter
Yes.
with some arsenic paint.
Yes. The whole dynamic of Grigor and his wife, Georgina, and the king, emperor, whatever, man-child, is really weird. And it makes me so uncomfortable.
Yeah, Tickery and I talked about it a little bit, where we were like waiting for Grigor to be a part of the downfall of Peter. We thought it was going to happen sooner, like he'd be involved with the coup, and then just turns out he's accidentally almost killing the emperor.
Accidentally?
I don't think he expected it to fuck him up. I think he just wanted...
he did. I think he was trying to kill him.
I thought he was just trying to
He was just worried about him getting caught.
Yeah.
He definitely tried to kill him.
Well, I in my understanding, he just wanted him to get a little sick and like have the shits, and that be that. Because like he didn't want him to bring the food with him. Remember, like he was like, oh, like he took a couple spoonfuls. And he's like, oh, okay, leave it at the table. Like, but Peter was the one that like kept eating it and stuff. And
he didn't want there to be any kind of evidence. He didn't want to get caught. He didn't want there to be some kind of connection between something's wrong with the food. That's why he's dying.
Yeah.
I just think he intended to kill him. Because he's fucking his wife.
So all of Catherine is trying to come to terms with, oh, hey, I'm going to be Empress tomorrow, because everyone was assuming Peter's dead, which is a very strong, likely outcome, I guess I would say.
Because it was arsenic poisoning.
Yeah.
And they thought he had cholera, which is, he's going to die.
Yeah. But don't worry, we have modern medicine. We're going to tie a dead rat around your throat.
Yeah, that's how it works.
Draw out the poison.
It was just interesting, and I kind of expected this to come up at some point. I didn't know it would be this way, but that Catherine's a little in over her head.
Yes.
And naive about her ideas, where while they are great ideas and she'll bring in the Russian Enlightenment and all of this progress for the country, you still have to play the game and appease the people that are going to make that possible.
Yeah.
All of your noblemen and your council, whatever it's called.
The court.
In monarchy. The court. You have to have the people that carry out those decisions on board.
Yeah.
You can't just say, we will have science. We don't want that. Well, we're going to end the war. We don't want that.
Yeah.
Well, there's a problem.
She needs a Orlo that's a little more aggressive, I guess. Like
assertive with her.
Yeah.
He tried to tell her, you need to approach it this way. And
don't mention the war.
First thing she does is mention the war.
Yeah.
Like, he needs to tell her the consequences a little more threateningly, I guess.
Or just like explain it like you did. It's like, you can have these ideas, but if the court doesn't stand behind you, they will not happen. Because I don't think he ever got that across to her, and so that's why she just kind of like bowled the head.
Yeah. I think she just interpreted us. They won't like it. Oh well.
Yeah, I'm the Empress. They have to.
Nope.
Yeah.
Not how it works.
So it was kind of expected to see, She can't just the next day be an empress. She still has a lot to learn about not just the court women and stuff, but just the actual politics of being a leader.
Yeah.
So I think that was one of the interesting thing of the episode. But then we also had Ivan,
Oh, yeah.
brother Ivan,
Oof.
because there was the secret brother of Peter that Archie. Archie was trying to get put towards the throne instead of Catherine.
Yeah.
And so there was a sudden rivalry between the Catherine supporters, Orlo, and
Yeah.
everyone else who wants Ivan because it's a Russian.
He's a child, and he'll be easy to manipulate.
And again, Russian part of the family, like he knows what Russia wants, not this German girl. That's
not even it. It's just he's a child, and we can control him.
Yeah. And
he's a child. He doesn't know what Russia wants.
Yes.
He wants to draw weird pictures of murder.
He wants wine.
Yeah. No, he's a child, and we'll have the power.
And so the episode ends with the aunt killing the child, and then within a minute, Peter is fine again because, of course. Mm-hmm. So she murdered a 9-year-old or 12.
Her nephew.
Yeah, her nephew.
Yeah.
Slit his throat for the sake of the Empress, because the aunt was like one of the only other people that were in her corners.
Yeah.
Good episode.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it. I can't remember what Mariel was doing.
She got pissed off that Catherine
wouldn't kill
Peter, didn't want to kill Ivan, wasn't ready to take over yet.
Inaction.
Mariel's, I think, very short-sighted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, in her mind, once Catherine's the Empress, she is no longer a servant. And that's what matters to Mariel.
Yeah.
Understandably.
Yeah.
But yeah, Peter's fine. So we go into episode 6, where now things are getting more interesting because Peter is now...
He's trying to be a changed man.
He's a better man.
Mm-hmm.
And so far in this episode, he is.
Yeah.
He's not perfect. He's still Peter, and so he's still,
throwing dogs off the roof.
And forcing his food tester to eat, obviously, poisonous berries.
Mm-hmm.
So, he's still Peter.
Mm-hmm.
But, I mean...
He's listening to Catherine's ideas.
He has a science experiment.
Yeah, he's not excited about science.
He doesn't just leave as soon as he loads up Catherine. He wants to talk to her and, see what she's about.
Mm-hmm.
Turns down George for once.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah. Everyone thought that was weird. So I think it's interesting. I don't know how long this will last. I'm willing to bet Catherine, because now it's Catherine and Archie playing at Peter to see who will, have the full sway. But I'm pretty sure Archie's lost after this episode, after he sent the Raven in to the bedroom and Peter sent guards into his bedroom and fucked him up for a little bit. But I mean, I just don't know how much more sway Catherine will get before Peter just, either gets bored of it or is just
I think he'll just revert back to his normal self.
Because it's easier.
Yeah.
It's just something that I noticed and I just confirmed it. Every 2 episodes are directed by the same person.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that helps with these 2-episode chunks. They often have the same feel.
Yeah.
I think it makes it more of a cohesive story when they have this movie essentially to work with, and then each person gets a movie. And this movie essentially was the Peter's rebirth, the reincarnation. We also had Leo in episode 6 dealing with the fact that Catherine is a married woman and does need to have sex with the emperor, and
they hadn't really had to deal with that up until this point.
Yeah, because Peter was not trying to have an heir. We got to see Mariel showing Catherine some early birth control.
Yeah.
That would hurt, right? That would hurt a lot.
I mean, I just think, I don't know. I think so. If you put a lemon up your vagina.
Because that's,
I just feel the acidity.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know, it would really fuck up the pH balance.
Yeah, because I was are they similar pH balances or something? Is that why it's a common thing or probably not common, but back then, why does Mariel just go oh yeah, stick a lemon up there?
Maybe it was a common birth control. I'm gonna look it up.
What's your Google search gonna be?
Lemon and vagina.
pH balance.
So I guess women in the 1700s used lemons as birth control. either by soaking sponges in lemon juice, because the acidity in lemons acts as a natural spermicide. And the lemon rind itself, with pulp and juice removed, could also be inserted into the vagina and used as a cervical cap. So yes.
It was a common tool back
Apparently.
then.
Maybe not common, but we don't know. Birth control. I mean, at this point in Russia, they're Catholic, right?
I think so, yeah.
Birth control's not really...
Allowed.
Not really. I don't think so. I'm not Catholic. Tell me if I'm wrong, I guess. But I'm pretty sure it's not allowed if you're Catholic.
Yeah. Yeah, because they can't even have condoms.
Yeah. I think any kind of birth control is, like, against their beliefs. But I don't know. So, yes, it is an actual thing, apparently. I just feel like the acidity would hurt, but...
Maybe it's not... Would it hurt worse than having a child?
No. I don't know. Maybe if you had, like, a cut in your vagina. Yeah.
You probably got bigger issues.
Oh, I would die. I'd rather die. No. Because I think if you don't put, like... the part with the juice and the flesh and, like, just the, like, rind of the lemon. Okay, whatever.
Like a hollowed out rind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they used just the top of the lemon, but it definitely had, like, part of the flesh in
like
it.
it was like she literally cut a lemon and was like, put it up.
Mm-hmm. Creative, I guess.
So that's the main topic of this episode. It's really not.
It was important.
It's important, and I'm sure it's going to be mentioned throughout the series. We had a great Archie and Catherine scene.
That was like the last scene, right?
That was one of the last scenes, yeah.
Because he was kind of threatening her and her progressive ideas about science.
And art, and trying to sway Peter that way.
Yeah, because it's ungodly.
Right.
And he, like, it was super, I'll say sexist. He, like, shushed her by putting his fingers on her mouth. So she bit his fingers.
And drew blood.
Oh, and she didn't even stop.
Yeah. Like, there's, on IMDb, there's a photo from that scene. Like, do you see it?
No. Yeah?
Like, she's mouthful of his blood. And he's like, yeah, he definitely deserves it.
I didn't expect that from his character, because he seemed kind of harmless this whole time. But damn.
I didn't expect that from Catherine.
No.
So, like, it was that entire scene was very much like, what? Which is cool.
Yeah.
I don't know, because he's now, like, he's the archbishop. Like,
Yeah,
the Pope.
he's been the
Grand.
archbishop, but now he's like the patriarch.
Yeah, he's like the big kahuna.
He's their pope. He's the Russian pope.
Right. And so I don't know if her making him an enemy is going to work out in the long run. And so I'm waiting to see how that comes to a head. But
I think it would have been bad if he didn't do that shit with the raven.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he didn't annoy Peter, then yeah. If it was just Catherine versus Archie, yes. But since he messed Peter's sleep up and tried to get in his head, Peter was like, no.
Yeah. What else happened?
Orlo killed a man
Orlo did kill a man.
and was very upset about it.
Yeah. He's very much, I think, against the war.
Yes.
And out of necessity was only supporting it the whole time. But Catherine's awakened something in him. But I don't know. I don't know where they're going with that. And Orlo's side storyline, I guess.
Yeah, we won't know until the next episode or two.
Because he was going out to meet with Velementov, right?
To get
try
him
and
to
get
join.
him to join their coup. But then the bear sidetracked things.
Right. I don't know. I think that's it for the great.
Yeah.
We got.
Just her battling with the women of court.
Yeah.
Trying to appease them
Yeah, but
in some way.
she's working on it.
Yeah.
Getting it
it's
done.
working. I do like that she got Mariel's dog back.
Do you?
I mean, it was funny because I didn't realize that it wasn't the one chick's dog to begin with. And I don't like that they just gave Mariel's dog to someone else.
Because they gave her the house that she was living in.
Yeah.
That's why. So it's like everything in it's yours now.
Including my dog.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
That's the punishment. Servants can't have
So
dogs.
fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was it episode 5 or 6 where we learned why Mariel's family
That was 6.
That was crazy.
Because she gave her the dog back because she was trying to make her not a servant. And
Yeah.
Peter was like, nope.
Nope. Do you know what he did?
Yeah.
What did you think of what Mariel's father did?
I mean, it was crazy. I thought it was just drunken Russians. Like, he was just a weird Russian court guy that was... He had clearly never been too punished before, and so
Yeah.
he's like, yeah, this will be fun. But no.
Necrophilia sounds fun.
Have you seen the stuff they do? That seems very par for the course when they're just like...
That was shocking to me.
Again, they're
I
just...
think it's funny that he thought that would be a funny joke.
Exactly. Like, that's their fucked up sense of humor, especially after 7 days of drinking, which I'm sure is all they do. Good on the Great. Gonna finish it. 2 more episodes. 2 more podcast episodes.
Okay, I was like, I think there's 10 episodes.
There's 4 more episodes, but
Yeah.
2 more podcast episodes. So, we're gonna talk about a movie now. Again, recap.
I feel like the movie you chose this week isn't as acclaimed or popular as the other ones we've been watching.
It has a similar rating to some of them on Rotten Tomatoes.
I don't mean rating, I mean like if I walked up to my mother
Yes.
and said all of the movies, this is probably the only one she'd never heard of,
Yeah.
is my assumption. So,
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the accolades and it has a lot of...
yeah. It was nominated for Best Screenplay, I think, the year it came out for Academy Awards.
Yeah.
It won a bunch of other stuff too, but
Yeah. So I mean,
it's the mainstream awards. It got nominated.
yeah, so it's not the fan aspect of it, and so every week we're going to be talking about either a critically acclaimed or fan acclaimed movie that at least one of us has not seen. And this week neither of us had seen it. It's The Lobster. From
By Yorgos Lanthimos. Is
the
that his name?
Yes. He is a director, screenwriter. He did The Favorite, which was one of your favorite movies the past couple of years. Came out in 2018.
He also did the Greek film Dogtooth, which I hear is really good.
It won Best Foreign Language Film. So we watched that. Didn't know anything about it other than people have to not be single or they get turned into animals.
I only knew that Olivia Colman was in it.
Yes.
That's the only thing I knew about it.
So we watched it. It's on Netflix. Wow, that was a weird movie.
Yeah, it was weird.
Looking at the box office, it only made 18 million.
What was its budget?
4.
Yeah.
So I mean, made a profit, but wow. I can't say it enough. It was just such a bizarre movie, and it made me laugh at just like how absurd and how weird and
I mean, yeah, that's the genre.
it just like the awful dialogue and just like how Collin Farrell just can't communicate. But I'm just like, how do you communicate in this world?
It's a dystopian society where I think they've been taught to repress their emotions, and it's just ridiculous.
The one thing that kept coming up that I wanted to know more about in this world is like, why do they need to have some linking issue or twitch, or like, why do these couples...
They need to have something in common. It's commentary on modern relationships where people can't just coexist together. They have to have something that binds
links them.
Yeah.
Like, they
Whether
have
it
to be a
be-
perfect fit.
Yeah. Which you don't. You really don't. And that's the point.
And if you have issues, don't worry. We're going to fix it for you. We're going to give you a child free of charge.
That was the funniest.
That got you the biggest laugh from Olivia Colman.
Because it's... So you go to the hotel if you're single, because in society you have to be in a relationship or a child, apparently.
Or nothing.
Or you're an animal. And so you go to this hotel and you get 45 days to figure it out, basically. And you can get more time at the hotel by hunting the loners, so the people that escaped or chose not to be an animal and chose not to have a partner or couldn't find someone that fit. So if you hunt loners, you get 1 extra day per each loner that you catch. Weird sentences just came out of my mouth. Anyway, what was I even going on about? Okay, so one guy that's there with Collin Farrell is so desperate to not turn into an animal, and he doesn't want to be a loner, so he kind of forces and fakes the one connection with this girl so that they can be partners, because in her mind it's like, oh, his nose bleeds too, we're perfect for each other, because that's the basis of a really good relationship. And so, they have to tell the manager of the hotel that they found their partner, and then they get like a month-long trial process to make sure that they really are a good fit. And the hotel manager says, you know, if you guys start fighting or have any issues, just let us know. We'll give you a child. That seems to help people.
Because that's what you do when you're having a problem relationship, is add a child.
That was exactly, like, it was the most heavy-handed point they were trying to get across, where people try to solve their problems by having children because they think it'll magically fix their relationship. Fuck, that was so funny, though. And just Olivia Colman's, like, deadpan delivery of it. Like, this isn't the most ridiculous thing that can come out of my mouth right now. This movie was weird.
Yes, because it's a, black comedy, so it's like, they just say these things and everyone around them is just like, yep, that's normal. But it's just like, oh, what? Yeah, this movie definitely felt like a play, like very distinctive acts to me, which I enjoyed once I figured out that's what was going on. Because you had the first act of the hotel, and my boy John C. Reilly was there and got his hand toasted because he couldn't stop masturbating.
Yep.
Then you had act 2 where he leaves, and then act 3
is the love story.
Right. Which, feels like it takes a while to get to, because Rachel Weisz is narrating this whole thing, and you're like, who the fuck is this woman? Why does she know so much? But find out, oh yeah, she's writing a journal.
Yeah. Fuck that journal.
Caused so many issues.
So essentially, Collin Farrell's 45 days are almost up. He decides to pair with the heartless woman in the hotel.
That's her name, yeah.
By faking being heartless himself.
Yeah.
And she starts to doubt him after like 2 days because, psychopath, I guess. So she kills his brother dog.
It's his brother who was turned into a dog.
Because he didn't make it in the hotel.
So she kicks
him to death.
Yep.
And I wanted to cry because they show the aftermath. And it was horrible.
They show the dead dog.
So don't watch this movie if you can't handle that.
Yeah.
Or just look away. I don't know, but fuck. They didn't need to show all of it.
No, they didn't, but they did.
They didn't need to. Like, showing the shot of her leg with the blood on it, okay, I get it. I believe you. I don't need to see it. But yeah, so he cries, and it tips his hat that...
He has
really
emotions.
Does have emotions.
Yeah.
So she tries to turn him in, and at this point in the movie, we don't know why, but the maid helps him. The maid of the hotel helps him tranquilize and turn the heartless woman into an animal that we never get to find out what it is. I have a theory about that I want to get to later.
I mean, why not get to it now?
So Rachel Weisz is narrating that scene where he never told me what kind of animal that he turned her into. I think it's a rabbit.
It was probably a rabbit.
Yeah.
Because rabbits are her favorite food, and he caught her several rabbits.
Yes, and maybe one of them was the heartless woman.
It was probably her.
Yeah. So yeah, it's probably a rabbit. So after he does that, he escapes the hotel, goes into the forest where all the loners are, meets the leader, finds out that they kind of have the opposite kind of system set up where you're not allowed to have a romantic relationship. It is against our rules, and we will mutilate you if you try to. Fuck.
That's even better.
Which is worse?
I mean, at least in the loner one, you can masturbate still.
Guess.
So, I mean, it's. I'm not saying it's better, but it's like...
Yeah.
There is some sort of relief, because we haven't mentioned in the hotel, like, the maid stimulates you.
Yeah, to motivate the people to
get a mate.
Yeah, because they're not allowed to finish. They just try to get them turned on.
Right, and then...
So I want to know what happens to the women in the hotel. Does the young man waiter do similar things?
I would imagine he probably, like, humps or grinds or something. Like, dry humps them.
Yeah. So weird.
I can't imagine. I don't know.
The scene where they're trying to show what it's like to be alone.
Uh-huh.
And, oh my God.
Which one? The
choking? The women walking alone.
Oh, help.
Help. Help. Oh my God. Like, don't watch this with the family, I guess. This is weird. I don't even want to explain what happens there, but fuck.
Very funny. Very weird.
It shouldn't be funny.
But it is.
Oh,
it's
God.
Supposed to be in a very messed up way.
Yeah. So he escapes, goes to the Loner Society where the opposite kind of world exists, and he meets Rachel Weisz's character, and they immediately fall in love because they're both what they keep calling short-sighted, which I think is an intentional choice of words.
Yeah.
So many layers to so they're both nearsighted / short-sighted. So he thinks, oh, perfect, we have a connection, which is the weirdest thing that's in this society, is they think they have to have something like that in common, but okay. So they fall in love, develop their own kind of like code to communicate with each other without getting caught in their society. And then they get a little too cocky on one of their in-town visits.
Mm-hmm. Because the loner leader likes to go see her parents and that bring them with them just so that way.
She goes in a group of Collin Farrell, Rachel Weisz, and this other guy, and they appear as couples so they don't get questioned when they're walking through town, because apparently if you're in the city and you're alone, police like question you and want to know where your partner is, and you can get like arrested for not having a partner.
You need to have your marriage license on you at all times.
So weird.
I mean, you've already recapped most of it, so it ends essentially with the leader of the loners not liking that they're
she figures out that they're
right
together,
and so
tries to punish them.
What she does is she tells Rachel Weisz that she's gonna give her LASIK to help her see, and she ends up blinding her. And I knew that the doctor was familiar. Did you look up who he was?
No.
Mace Tyrell.
Oh, that's funny.
Yes,
the doctor that blinds her.
Yes, Mace. He's like in like 2 scenes, if that. But I was like, I know that's a guy.
Yeah,
he's a guy.
Yeah.
So now Rachel Weisz is blinded, and Collin Farrell has to deal with it, and they escape after he incapacitates the loner leader.
Yeah.
And they have to make their way out into the city and pose as a couple. But the climactic, the final scene is them at a restaurant and him.
He's decided that he has to blind himself too, so they have something in common.
Naturally.
Yeah.
And so he's getting one last look at each of her parts that he can in public before he goes into the bathroom with a steak knife. And
we don't know.
It's the Inception ending. Does he or doesn't he? And it's up to you. And I'm willing to bet he doesn't.
Yeah.
I think everything about him seems too, I don't know.
Pussy whipped.
Just finicky and not committal.
Not decisive, yeah.
And I think like we're not supposed to see him do it because I don't think he's going to do it. But that's just me.
Yeah. And I remember the scene at the beginning where he's talking to his first wife, and his only question was, does he wear glasses? I just remembered that.
Yeah. So I mean, maybe.
That was what they had in common.
Yeah. I wonder how long. Oh, he said that they're together almost 12 years. So 11 years and 1 month.
Yes.
Almost 12 years. Shut up. So I mean, what did you think about the movie though? It seems like you enjoyed it. It seemed like you got some humor out of it.
It made me laugh. I don't know if I get the point of the movie still.
I think it was
besides just commentary on relationships.
I think that was it.
Okay.
I think that's all. Like, I don't think it needs a bigger message than that.
Yeah.
So.
It just feels like it does because it's such a like Orwellian type society that he created.
I think if he spent more, like if he had more things to say, he would have spent more time world building and stuff. But we really don't know much about the world. Like there isn't.
I think that's what's lacking for me. Is
yes.
I prefer when things are world driven rather than character driven.
I enjoy that too, but at the same time, if that's not what they're going for, then I can't fault them for not doing it.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say that I loved it, but I definitely thought it was interesting, different, very different than anything I've seen. I can't really speak to a lot of the acting because everyone was kind of one-dimensional intentionally.
Yeah.
But I guess they all did a good job doing that. I like some of the choices of the actors that were chosen. Like Collin Farrell, I think, is Irish, and Rachel Weisz is
like German.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure she's German. And then John C. Reilly's American, and Ben Whishaw is British.
So you like the diversity?
French. I want to know why that was the choice, but I'm fine with it.
Mm-hmm.
It was cool. It was interesting that in this modern society, it's people from literally all over.
I mean, to be fair, that's just kind of Europe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why.
Yeah, it's the American that threw me off.
Yes,
But
John C. Reilly. Yeah, they
why
exist.
John C. Reilly?
Because look at him. He was the
did.
funniest part of the movie, and the scene where he doesn't even say anything is so funny.
Which scene was that?
When he's on the hunt and he's just looking around and running, and it's in slow motion.
Yeah.
He's such a monster. I love him. So, I did enjoy this movie, but like you, it's not amazing.
Yeah.
Which it's fine. Like, it's a good movie. You should check it out on Netflix, I think. If it seems interesting in any way for you, go check it out. I know we spoiled it, but hey, go check it out. Go watch it, because
you need to see it unfold.
we definitely skimmed over a lot of it, and that is intentional.
Yeah.
So I'm ready to rate it. I don't know if you are, or if there's any other big things or last thoughts you had on it.
What animal would you be?
See, he said lobster because he wanted to go out and see, like, go out and be in the sea. Mm-hmm. And then the limping guy, John, said, like, oh, you'd just be cracked open and eaten. So it's like, I need to know are there any, like, safety nets? Like, if you choose, what if you pick, like,
There
dolphin?
aren't. You just get released.
But what if you just pick, like, I would pick, do you know what animal you would be?
No.
I would want to say octopus, because they're fairly smart. Mm-hmm. They are the predators in their area. They can get away easily. They live relatively long, I think, for animals. Mm-hmm. So that's probably my go-to. There's also an easy one of just some sort of bird, like a falcon or something.
I was
like
thinking an eagle.
Something that, again, is a predator, so it's not just going to be like fucking yeeted out of the sky by something bigger.
Yeah.
Or you could go even crazier and be like alligator or whale.
Yeah.
Like something that isn't easily hunted by humans, I think.
Yeah.
Like that's where my mind goes. If this was a real society and I had to pick, I would spend more time looking into animals and their lifespan and things like that. Because that's what Collin Farrell said, is that lobsters live for like 100 years. So, so eagle, is that what you would stick with?
So.
Okay. I'll say octopus then, just to be different.
Yeah.
I belong in the ocean with Collin Farrell.
Yeah.
So you're ready to rate it?
Yeah.
Out of 10 scales of 15.
Oh, no, I'll see.
I thought that was such a stupid rating scale.
Yeah.
Sounds like that has to be it. Mm-hmm. It's like between 1 and 15. What? And then he said 14. Why not?
You said anything less than 15, I'd kill you.
Exactly. I was
And they
like,
were impressed by that rating.
I was like, you idiot. You have to say 15. Mm-hmm. And he did it.
You're a perfect match.
So from out of 10,
15.
1 to 15 ratings.
No, I don't like that.
Out of 10 15s.
Okay.
Or out of 10 14s.
Yeah.
I'd give it a 7.5.
Yeah, same.
Okay.
Yeah, pretty good.
Pretty good. Still has flaws. Still leaves some.
I think it was just a little too long.
Yes.
And some places could have cut some things to make room for other things that I'm desiring to have seen.
You wish for more world building.
Yes.
Yeah. So go check it out, definitely.
Yeah, it's worth watching. I think he is a great director with a very unique vision.
Yeah. I would say it's probably one of my favorites that we've picked so far. But that'll do it for this episode. We'll be back next week talking about more movie, more things.
Yeah.
And go listen to all the things. Go listen to all of our things. Our episodes, YouTube, Spotify, podcasts, blah. We'll see you next week.
Bye.